Welcome to Business Reporter's Future of Retail campaign hosted by the Telegraph online. I will never come back to this store again. This is probably the most frequent complaint that you would hear from customers in any brick and mortar store on any high street. Why are they so upset? Because they had to queue too long, they couldn't find the product that they wanted to buy. Now, there is a way to get their loyalty back and to lure them back to these stores. And the gentleman who is going to tell us how is
Hugh Thomas. I'm the Managing Director for PMC, and we've developed a solution for mobile in retail called Store Enabler.
Good morning, Hugh.
Morning, Andres.
In this brave new world with online shopping, why do we need high street stores?
Most customers actually do shop across all of the channels, not just online. And they expect to get a seamless experience across all of those channels that reflects the brand that they're shopping in. There's been a lot of hype over the last few years in the media around the death of the high street. Why do we need high street stores? Nobody needs them, everybody's going online. The reality is today, 85% of all retail transactions still happen in a bricks and mortar store. Online is predicted to grow, but the rate of growth has actually been tailing off for the last few years. So from my point of view, we absolutely need the high street stores, and they're going to play a major part in UK retail for as long as I can imagine.
So you say 85%.
85.
So that means 15% is shopping only online?
Yeah, and you wouldn't believe that, would you, for the amount of column inches that given up to the growth and the importance of online shopping.
Okay, so there's this 85% of all customers, so we are talking about tens of millions. What is so attractive for them in the brick and mortar store? What sort of experience are they looking for?
I guess when a customer goes into a high street store now, they're actually expecting the experience to be easy and enjoyable, much like they expect to get when they trade online. Most retailers are actually using their online channel now to try and drive customers into stores with initiatives such as click and collect. It's only in the bricks and mortar stores that they can actually get some kind of real engagement with the brand. You know, for the people that want to sit at home and shop online and it's convenient, that's great. I do it myself. But actually, if people want to get something a bit more, particularly if you think about the fashion environment where people want to touch and feel, make sure the quality is right, is the size that I see online the same as the size that other retailers have for the same products? Also, when people go in store, there's an opportunity to engage more with them, whether it's personal engagement between you and the store staff, or in terms of the digital stuff that people are actually putting around their environments to drive more about what does the brand mean, where's the brand going, what other people are actually engaging with that brand.
I'd like to challenge you on this a little bit, if you don't mind. Tesco. I can have my click and collect. I can have my home delivery. What would be the personal experience in a Tesco?
I don't think you do need the personal experience in a Tesco.
Okay.
Unless you don't know where the soup is or your type of bread, then actually I don't think the personal experience is required so much. But if you think about the majority of shopping that people do, you know, food shopping might be once a week, maybe a couple of times a week. But actually the shopping that people do that's more for themselves, about the thing that gives them comfort, makes them happy, is normally around buying goods, buying services, buying clothes, buying stuff. And in those type of environments, they lend themselves much better to a more personal engagement. Again, whether that's about a person within the store or about the other things that the store can bring to life, whether it be about other products or other experiences that people might enjoy using the products that they purchased in that brand store.
Let's go back to your previous example, the fashion brands.
Yep.
Of course, I want to have that personal engagement and that experience. But this is becoming more and more expensive for the retailer, because today, now that I have the choice to shop online, I think twice whether I want to queue in a store. I think twice before I want to get an apology from the shop assistant that unfortunately your size is not available today in this store. So how do shops manage this problem today? For example, queuing, for example, out of stock problems.
I would say they probably don't manage it well enough today. Retail is fiercely competitive, and the reality is there's a finite audience in terms of people that will shop. So the only way of actually increasing market share is to go and steal some customers off your competition. To be able to steal customers from your competition, you have to have a point of difference. How do you bring something new to that shopping environment that makes it worth going in? Things about dealing with queues and out of stocks are just no longer a nice to have. They're an absolute necessity. If people want to gain market share and win in retail, those things have to be a thing of the past. Retailers need to find a way of making sure that if the product isn't there, and it can't always be there, because no retailer can spend enough to make sure that all products of size, colour, range is available in every stock. That just doesn't make sense. What they have to find a way of doing is addressing the problem that individual got at that point of time and finding a really easy way of resolving it for that customer. They can turn what looks like a negative experience actually into a really positive experience.
How?
Going into a store when you want something very specific and it's not there, your immediate reaction is, I'm feeling quite aggrieved about that brand. But if someone senses that aggrievement and you've not sought out a member of staff, and they come to you proactively and find a way of resolving that problem in a way that absolutely works for you, it actually can drive more adhesion to that brand.
You are the developer of the store enabler, okay? How do you respond to this problem? How do you empower these shop assistants and retailers to be proactive in a situation like this?
So Store Enabler can help retailers to increase sales and drive a more personalised experience in the store. Store Enabler helps them to put mobile technology in the hands of the store staff rather than in the hands of the consumers. And with that mobile technology, they can address some of those business issues, whether it's about managing queues, whether it's helping to provide a more personalised assisting selling process, or whether it's about resolving those out-of-stock situations that come up from time to time.
Can you give me an example here? How would it work?
So imagine you're getting set for a nice event, your wife's invited you out, you want to go out and find a new shirt. You've found something online, looks perfect, but maybe you're not going to order, it's a new retailer. So you want to go to the store, try it on, check the quality, check the colour, check the size. As is typical, you go to the store, they've got all the other sizes except yours, but you can check your size in a different product. So you know it's the item you want, but it's not in stock. What do you do now? Are you going to leave the store? Are you going to go home and order it online? Are you going to go somewhere else and look for something else? Imagine if someone senses that frustration with you in the store. They come to you with a tablet device. They've got access to the entire product range. So they say, Andrus, I see. So what you wanted was this size. We've got one in the central warehouse. Would you like to come and pick it up in the store? Would you like me to send it to a store closer to where you live? Would you like me to send it to your home? Say, okay, that'd be great. And then imagine if, having gone through that process, not only have you got the order, they take your payment there and then, you've got your slip saying when it's going to be delivered, and you leave the store. You've not even had to queue. And to me, that feels like a much better experience.
Okay, that sounds very easy, and obviously it must be very attractive. But before I would implement it, so let's say I'm the retailer, before I would implement it, I would start to think about all the investments that I have already done for years, the legacy. Mm-hmm. If I'm signing up and I start to use the Store Enabler, does it mean that I have to throw away all the legacy that I have?
We've produced a solution that we like to call everything agnostic. It'll work with any type and size of device. It'll work with Android, with Windows 10, with iOS. And it'll actually work with a combination of all those different things in one single instance. And that's important because you might actually want a different type and size of device to address queuing, for instance. You might want something small. Whereas if you're doing some personalized shopping, you probably want something with a bigger tablet where you can show more details of the range, better imagery, better graphics. Our bet is that in the future, the e-commerce engine is going to be the thing that's really going to drive retail. So we believe that retailers can take their existing e-commerce engine, put it onto a tablet-type device, and what Store Enabler does is it takes care of all of the other retail processes that you need to manage in a mobile environment, like the ability to build a basket, whether it be with a Bluetooth attached scanner, or using click and select from the website. The ability to take your card and do a proper secure chip and pin cardholder present payment. The ability to print receipts, because other than the Apple Store, most people when they give a card actually want to leave the store with a receipt. And what we've also done is develop a cloud-based cash management system. So even in a mobile environment, a retailer can address the fact that you've got a basket that you want to pay for and take cash if you don't want to use your card.
So it's all integrated with the solution?
It's all integrated. And Store Enabler takes care of the integration of those business processes. The other important thing it does, because the devices, the tablets, they change every few months nowadays. So if you implement a solution now, in 6-9 months, someone will have a different type of tablet that you want to use. What Store Enabler does is it takes care of the ability for you to change tablet device, maybe add different operating systems, maybe change the peripherals that you're using for scanning, and even change the payment service provider that you're using for payment in your mobile environment. And all of that without ever the need to re-implement Store Enabler.
How long does it take to implement it?
Based on recent experience, we believe we can get to a pilot in about 6 to 8 weeks.
So practically maximum 2 months.
Yeah, it's very easy and cost effective to implement. We've even developed a software developers kit. So if retailers have their own development capability or their own partner development company, then we can provide this developers kit and they can do the integration and the deployment themselves. And we have actually got one retailer that's done that.
So when you say deployment, which is at the end of these 2 months or 6 weeks?
Even just to get it to pilot. So they can deploy the solution, but after that, once it's deployed, they just mirror it across new devices.
How easy it is to use, how self-evident, how intuitive? Do I need to train my staff?
As a store manager, not really. If you're using your existing website, most retailers understand general websites and their own. In terms of the peripherals that we're putting around it, so the ability to scan, to pay, to print and to take cash, everyone in your store can already do those things. So everything they're going to do in the mobile environment is very intuitive to the way they work day to day.
So that's how far I get in 2 months?
Yes.
So that's okay. What are the strongest trends? What do we know about these shopping habits? Where do you see the retail world and the customers in, let's say, 5 to 10 years?
I think in terms of customers, they will still continue to go to stores. In terms of the experience they get within the store might be very different. So today, the majority of the stores, in fact, probably pretty much all stores, still have the traditional till points that take up quite a lot of space and that actually drive the queues that you talked about earlier. I think the reality of where things will go in that environment is that those are quite cumbersome. And the reason they're cumbersome is that over the years, vendors and retailers have driven an awful lot of functionality into those devices that are actually better suited in other systems that the retailer already has. So I can see it move into the basis that what the retailer will actually need is something that builds a basket, whether that's their website, whether it's something different, and that actually mobility is the way forwards. Pretty much everyone that goes shopping has at least one device, if not multiple mobile devices. That's what they're used to using on a day-to-day basis. And I think that when they go into a retail environment, they'd expect to get that experience back from the people that they're dealing with. So I think mobility is the way forwards. I think POS will get slimmer. And for me, I don't think it will be many years until you see a store with no traditional point of sale whatsoever.
Well, it sounds like, based on what I hear, that high street stores are here to stay. Hugh Thomas from PMC, thank you very much.
Thank you, Andres.